my book's like being distributed to the US, but I have like everything's just my UK team. So I have like one editor. But if you're being published by like Bloomsbury in the UK and HarperCollins in the US, yeah, you have like double of everything, which is interesting.
So could you get different books?
Wait, stop asking questions.
Sorry.
Hi everyone, welcome to Two Girls One Plot Between the Pages. We have our lovely new guest today, which is Sophie Davies, debut romance author.
Yep.
For Head Over Skis.
Thank you. Yeah, I bought my obnoxiously large cover version of it, so that's just going to sit in the background looking
No, we love it.
looking very subtle.
So excited. Thank you for coming.
No, thanks for having me. It's lovely to be here. It's sort of my first like publicity thing for the book, which is exciting.
It feels very professional actually having the book cover here.
I know. I keep it everywhere now. I don't know where to put it in my house. Like once it's out, whether it looks a bit weird next to like really nice art on the wall, like abstract, and then there's this aggressively pink, but very cute.
A proud moment.
Very proud.
Yeah.
With Between the Pages, we like to have a variety of different guests within the bookish industry, if you will. So obviously we've had an indie author, we've had a bookshop owner or workers. They didn't own the bookshop. And so now we have traditionally published author. But one thing we ask everybody is their book check-in. So tell us, what have you been reading?
So I'll do like a little, Last Now Next. So I just finished reading The Ending Writes Itself. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's by an author called Evelyn Clark, which isn't a real person. It's like a fusion of two authors. One's Kat Clark and one's V. Schwab, if you've read like Addie LaRue or any of those. And I went to an event that they did, and it's sort of like, it's set on a Scottish remote island. Famous author hasn't finished his book and he's died. Like the public don't know he's dead. So they bring these like writers to the island to try and finish the book. And it's like very sort of, it talks a lot about the publishing industry and it's quite like cynical about the publishing industry, which is quite funny. So I sort of enjoyed that. And yeah, the event was just brilliant. And they made it sound so entertaining. So I was like, right, I've got to read that next. And then what I'm currently reading, it's not out yet. It's coming out, I think in September. And it's called My Person. And it's about a friendship breakup. And so you've got like these two people whose lives are so intertwined. And one of them right at the beginning is like, I'm going to break up this friendship. And the whole thing is like, how do you remove yourself from someone who you've been like so entwined with your whole life, but maybe not like in a healthy way. Yeah. So you're trying to pull away, but at the same time, it's like,
could be useful to know.
And I think, shut up! I've come in between something here. But I think that's interesting because a lot of, especially women, as you sort of get older and you've got friends you've had your whole life, but you go such different ways. So yeah, I'm reading that at the moment. And then next I'm going to read On Thin Ice by Olivia Bell, which is like an ice skating, dancing on ice style romance. Have you seen it around?
I've definitely seen it around. I think we've got it. I think we have got it. Yeah, I think we bought it. Yeah, but we haven't read it yet.
Amazing. So I'm in a romance book club and it was my turn to pick. And I picked that because I sort of like Olivia and I know each other through socials and she's lovely. So I was got to support. And that was her debut that came out in February. So that's my like a little bit of every genre, really.
Exciting. That's so good. And then, so obviously we need to know a bit about your book.
Yes.
So can you tell us a bit about it? What's it all about?
Yeah. So it's very cozy, wintry romance. Really want people to read it and just like have a good time and have a smile. It's not a toxic romance in any way. I love to read those, but I was like, it was funny writing it. I realized I don't like doing bad things to characters. Like it's really hard when you're writing it. So it's very cozy. It's about a friendship group that are going on a ski holiday. And, you think, it's going to be so much fun. And then a couple of weeks before the holiday, the main character and her boyfriend break up. And they're both going on the holiday. So she's like, oh God, this is going to be awful. But I'm still going to go because, I've paid all this money. I'm with my friends, like, I want to go. So just before, like 2 days before the holiday, she has a one-night stand because she's like, I'm going to just get my head off everything, maybe this will help. I've never had one before. And so she has a one-night stand with this guy, thinks, I'm never going to see him again. And then goes on the holiday, turns up to her beginner ski class, And lo and behold, he is the ski class instructor. And the ex-boyfriend knows nothing about like any of this. He's trying to like maybe see if they can get back together whilst like there's a ski instructor there. And so, yeah, it's sort of the whole book only takes place over the 2 weeks that they're on the holiday. So, yeah, it's just like,
that's so exciting.
See what happens.
We've had the privilege of reading the first couple of chapters, which it's, oh my God. I mean, a privilege, but also a curse because now
we have to wait.
When is it coming out?
So it comes out on the 3rd of September. So it's just under 4 months now, which is crazy because when I sort of announced it, it was 8 months until it came out. And now suddenly that's halved.
So
and yeah, it's going really fast. So hopefully it won't feel like too long.
Great time of year as well, like, because then it'll be sort of in full flow in the winter season.
We do it a lot in publishing. If there's like, a wintry book, you bring it out like just before. So then it's ready and hopefully people have like seen it by the time they then are like, oh, Christmas, cold weather, ski holidays. So
are you going to do like a launch event?
I am doing a launch. I feel like it hasn't been like officially announced, but there will be one in London. Exclusive. It will be at a little indie bookstore in London. It's really cute. There'll be like I feel like I'm telling it. I feel like I can say it. It just hasn't been announced because it's like it's not for so long. But there'll be like a first half that's very much like free for anyone to come to get books signed, get some goodies. And then there'll be a second half that's like closed door, just family and a couple friends, which will be really sweet to kind of celebrate and wind down. So so there will be one. Details to come once. I've like discussed it. It's all arranged with the bookstore, but I just haven't officially announced.
Oh, that's so exciting. So you sort of mentioned there, like you talked about, we in the publishing industry. So so we wanted to ask you a bit about that because you're obviously in the publishing industry.
I am.
So how did you get there? Like, what was your journey on getting into the publishing industry?
I feel very lucky because compared to a lot of people trying to get into the publishing industry, I had a pretty smooth ride in, sort of because of a couple of reasons. So I guess it starts with at uni, I studied English literature, which is not needed to study publishing, but you'll find a lot of people who work in it did study English just because if you're thinking you want to go to uni, you like books, you might pick
your
English.
Interest, your passion.
Yeah, and then obviously a lot of people in publishing like books. So it all kind of, sort of happened. So I studied English and that kind of gives you 3 career options as the most obvious, like teaching, journalism, publishing. And I knew I didn't want to be a journalist. I'd done like a journalist experience day and I was like, this feels a bit stressful. I didn't want to write articles about like facts. I'm much more like feelings, not facts. So I was like, that didn't really appeal. Teaching, something I'd love to do, but maybe later down the line. So that kind of left publishing. And I started sort of reaching out, cold emailing a few places like, hi, do you need some work experience? I'd love to come. Obviously heard nothing back. But then COVID happened and I was in my final year of uni at this point. And I sort of thought, now I could maybe try and get a job in publishing because the offices are closed. I could work at uni like remotely because they don't need me in London. So while I was in my final year, I started applying for jobs while I was still like finishing my degree, thinking I probably won't get anything for like 6 months. And by that point, I'll be, moving down to London anyway. So that was in, I think, March of my final year. And then in the April, I got offered a job at Bloomsbury.
Wow.
Which was kind of insane.
So that's a big one, not just like a
I know. It was really nice because
that must have been crazy, like getting that job offer, being like, what? Oh no, now I have to actually do it.
Yeah, well, there was that fear. So I'd been offered that job. And on the day I got the Bloomsbury job, I was doing a final interview for another job at a literary magazine, but literally to be like an admin person, like packing boxes and like that kind of stuff. And I remember saying to my dad, like, I've got this Bloomsbury job, but I'm kind of terrified because that was my first professional job. I'd never done anything. Like, I was really worried I couldn't do it. And so I was almost like, maybe I should just take the job, like writing notes and packing boxes because like I can do that. And he was like, stop being silly.
You got to go.
You've got to go for it.
Push it through.
So I started that job while I was still at uni, finishing my dissertation. So kind of juggled the two. And I had my friends like going out every night and like coming and knocking on my door to like cry about boys and things. And I was like, I'm in a work call. Like, I was like, I had to shut my bedroom door at my uni house and be like, you can't come in from 9 to 5 because I work now, which was really weird. So it was international sales assistant. So basically international sales sell books in English, but into Europe, Asia, Africa. So I was sort of assisting, the whole team at Bloomsbury, which was a lovely team. It was like all women. My boss was great. And she very much like took me under her wing and knew it was my first role. And so everyone was like really nice.
Such a good opportunity. Like,
and like I said, because it was Bloomsbury, when I told everyone knew like who Bloomsbury was and what they published. And so it was very cool to tell everyone. So that was, I sort of got in, and it's been 5 years now that I've been in publishing, which is fun.
That's so good. So, I mean, I suppose this might be an obvious answer maybe, but you're obviously traditionally published with your book.
Yeah.
So what was, behind your decision to do that? Was it the familiarity with the industry or what sort of drove you that way?
I think I always wanted to pursue traditional publishing as like a first avenue, but I did consider self-publishing because I basically wrote my first book, which I look back very fondly on, but I'm quite glad is not the book that's being published as my debut. It was very much me, I guess, figuring out how to write a book. And I tried to get an agent with that one to sort of traditionally publish, didn't get anywhere, wrote this book and felt a lot more confident in Head Over Skis. So I thought I'll still try and, do the traditional publishing route, get an agent, get a publisher. But in my head, I thought if this one doesn't get me an agent, I'll self-publish it because I loved it and I really did. I wanted to have a book out, and working in publishing, especially for fantasy and romance, we traditionally publish a lot of books that have been self-published originally. Now, books like Metal Slinger, Diabound, things like that were self-published do really well and then kind of get taken on. So I guess part of me was like, oh, if I self-publish it and it does really well, there's a slim chance it could then be traditionally. But I guess with traditional publishing, there's a lot of things that are just a bit easier for you. Like if you self-publish your book, you have to put like a lot of time and energy behind it, and sometimes quite a bit of money. There's ways to do it all cheaper, and you can get people to help out, and you can get so much success from self-publishing if you're like hardworking. Like the sky's the limit. But with traditional, there's a couple things that are just handled for you, like cover. Obviously, like cover can cost you quite a bit if you're doing it yourself, and I'm not creative in the way I couldn't make
really
this.
Great. Like,
I really love it. So that is handled for you. Like some of the marketing and publicity is done for you, and like the distribution of the books, all the logistical stuff that you have to teach yourself if you're self-publishing. I can kind of just trust that though. It's in a warehouse and they send it out for me. And
they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. So yeah, I definitely considered both, but thought I'll try for traditional, and it did work out with this one. So that's sort of away we go now.
Did you think you got an in because obviously you worked in the industry?
I think no, and this is the thing. I think working in publishing helps in a lot of ways, but not in the obvious ways. So I think people assume that maybe it's slightly easier to get published. But especially me, because I work in sales, I don't actually have that many friends who are editors, and they're the ones who sort of get the books from the agents and then present them. So, and even if I did have connections, you sort of don't want to use them, because at the end of the day, if the book's not good enough to have got me the agent and got the pub deal, it might not do that well anyway. So you sort of want to know that you did it like all off the strength of the book itself. And because before it even goes to any publishing houses, you've got to try and get an agent, and that bit is just like no one can help you at that point. It's just send it off and sort of pray. So I don't think it helped me in getting the book deal, but it definitely helped me in knowing like how the industry works. And probably when I was writing my query letter, I was like, I know the information that I need to go out and sell a book to a customer, so I can make sure that's included. And publishing's quite a slow process, so that wasn't a surprise. And like, it might take a long time.
Yeah, you just know how it all works behind the scenes.
So that definitely, that's where I think it helps a lot.
Did you find it weird being on sort of like both sides of it? So like obviously because you're an author, you're also in the publishing industry.
Yes and no. I think there are as you can imagine, quite a few people who work in the industry who do write. I think it's probably less than you'd imagine. I think a lot of people sort of maybe like the idea of writing, but then work in the industry and it kind of puts you off.
Right.
Because you realise like, oh God, we publish so many books and, you know, only so many do, you know, really well. And there's not many authors who make enough money to just write. So I think a lot of people work in publishing and then think, oh, you know what, I'll not try. So in a way, when I told people that now I'm writing as well as my day job, it wasn't too surprising. So that made it less weird because I could talk at work about being an author quite normally. Some of the weird things, I guess once I then got the book deal, I almost felt this need to prove to my colleagues that I was still taking my day job seriously. And like you had that fear of them being like, oh, like, when did she have the time to do this? Or like, oh, she's checked out or whatever. So I felt this sort of funny need to be like, no, like I write all my books in my own time and at the weekends. And that was that need to be like, I'm not quitting my day job. Like, I'm still here, still working hard. But it's been really fun because even though I work in the industry, you see a totally different side than you do as the author. So every time I get an email from like my publicist or my editor, I get really excited because I'm never on that side.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but not too weird, I don't think. Cause,
you can kind of balance it.
Yeah, I try and balance it quite well.
So what did the journey to getting your book deal actually look like then? So obviously you know kind of how it works for other people from behind the scenes, but for you, how did it go from like finishing your book and being like, right, this is what I want to publish, and then getting it to where it is now?
I feel like it's quite a long road a lot of the time. You see a lot of people, especially on TikTok, who are like, I wrote my book in, I don't know, a couple of months, and then they get like 10 offers of rep, and then they get like, their book goes to auction at publishers, and it's like, wow. I definitely think my journey was like a bit more like low and slow. Like I wrote obviously a first book, nothing happened with that, which it's very normal. The more authors you kind of speak to, the more you realize like most people's debut that gets published, what isn't their first, isn't their second, isn't their third. They sort of write a few to get the agent and then maybe they send a few out to publishers and they don't get picked up. And so there was never any like shame or anything in with that first book. I was like,
it's just how it
might
goes.
not happen. It's just how it goes. So that, you know, that book sort of took me maybe like a year and a half to write. It was definitely the longest one. So then it was sort of like slow to then getting the agent. And then from there, it kind of went like, because I signed with my agent April of 2025. And then we sent the book to publishers in July of 2025. And then I got the book deal that October. And then obviously it's coming out September. So sort of from the time of like getting the agent to the book being published is like a year and a half, which might sound long, but in publishing terms, it's like, wow, that was really fast. So yeah, I think my journey, what it actually looked like was quite slow for a long time. And then nothing spectacular when I queried. Like I got one offer of rep and then I got one offer of publication. But here I am. So it's like, yeah, it's quite nice because I think it was a very sort of normal journey. Like there's parts that I feel very lucky for and were very fast, but overall like
it's quite a slow progress.
Yeah, just like slow and steady, and you just keep working at it and you keep going. And and the nice thing is sort of the truth of my publishing journey is all online because I started posting when I was writing the first draft of that first book and everything, like every step. There's videos I look back on where I'm like sitting in front of the camera going like, does anyone else sometimes just feel like it's never going to happen, or like your writing's really bad? And it's really nice to look back on those. Or like I made a video being like, I'm going to watch this one day when I've got an agent. And then I was like,
you got a book deal, a movie deal.
Oh, Netflix next, Netflix. Who knows? So yeah, it's nice to have like the truth of the journey is all there. So I can look back on it and other people can see it and sort of think, oh, it's okay to for your first book not to do anything.
That's
it's okay.
That's really sort of helpful for a lot of people, I'm sure, that are trying to get into that route. And then all of the like editing and stuff, because you obviously do lots of editing yourself, you kind of get to a point where you're happy with it.
Yeah.
So when you get kind of, you know, feedback, proofreading, all that kind of stuff, does that happen after you've been taken on by a publisher? editing process?
I feel like every writer can do it however they want and also however much time you have. So with Head Over Skis, I wrote the first draft and then I probably wrote like a kind of edited, made a second draft. And then I sent it to my beta readers, which is basically, for me, I'm very lucky. It's a group of friends who all are either writers, romance readers, or my mum and my boyfriend, who I just trust.
Yeah.
Like my mum definitely reads romance. She maybe doesn't read like spicy romance. So that was quite funny. And my boyfriend isn't a romance reader, but he reads a lot, and so it's interesting to get that opinion.
And he's going to read your book.
He is. Yes. I mean, yeah, he's read this one. He's read then another one I've written that nothing's happening with that one so far, but who knows? Who knows, huh? That was exciting.
He's like, what?
Yeah. So then I send it off to those people who I sort of trust to give honest feedback. Sometimes I maybe send it to half of them, get their feedback, edit, and then send it to the others, edit again. My agent, we did a couple rounds of edits with Head Over Skis before we sent it to publishers. And then once it got the book deal, my editor then sent me a little bit of edits as well. So you end up reading your book a lot.
Yeah.
So many times.
That must be hard to edit though, when you've seen it so many times, you don't see it any other way.
No, and that's why you need people.
Yeah.
And that can be the scariest part, is letting other people read your book and like accepting the fact they might hate it, but knowing that you just like, you have a blindness to it when you're the author, because also nothing's a surprise in the book because you knew what was going to happen. So then I'm like, oh, is this actually like exciting? Or so yeah, Head Over Skis had a lot of edits, and then I'm publishing a second book. It has been announced that I'm publishing it next year. Nothing about it's been announced yet, so I can't say anything. But
okay? So we don't know if
it's romance.
Okay,
and I'm not going to say any more than that, just in case there's anything I can't say. But that one, exactly. Well, I'll give you the laydown afterwards. That one, I only had 3.5 months to write the whole book.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So did you already have the idea, or did they tell you we want a book about this?
I had the idea. Okay. So when they offered me for Head Over Skis, I got a 2-book deal. So basically, before they decided to definitely give me a deal for this one, I pitched them a couple of other book ideas, and then they picked one of those book ideas, and that was going to be then the second book. But I hadn't written any of it at that point, and I started writing it then in December. And you have like flexibility in when you like pick your deadline with your publisher. But with romance books, you sort of try and publish quite frequently. Yeah. So we sort of, I think, knew we didn't want it to be too long a gap. So I sort of chatted, and it's like, how quickly do you really think you can write it? And my agent was great, and she very much like emailed me and was like, do you need more time? And I was like, no, I can get it done. And I did get it done. I got a first draft done, and then I definitely like read over it and fixed a few things. But I didn't have time with that one to send it to beta readers like before I sent it to my publisher. So I've done that now, and I've got like some feedback from people, but I'm going to wait until I also have my publisher's feedback and then kind of do it all in one. Yeah. So that one, was definitely a case of sending the book before I would have ever normally sent someone a book, because like I like to make it a little bit more refined. But that one, just timing wise, it was like, it's got to go. Yeah. They've got to see it now. So that was a different process, definitely. Writing, we call like writing on deadline. Yeah.
That's so exciting.
It's a bit like at high school when you've got like an essay and you're like, oh, well, that's the deadline. So like if you leave it to the week before, that's all you've got, or you just like try and manage your time. And
so exciting.
Look, obviously you have got a little social media presence, which is how we found you. Yeah. And you said that you kind of have been sharing like your journey online. Yeah. Have you felt that that's kind of like played a part in how you've written your book?
I think definitely. I think it's helped a lot with motivation, because you sort of feel like you always need to have an update for people. So it was definitely like, oh God, well, I've got to write something. Otherwise, like, I'd just be like, well, I haven't done anything this week. And I did like some challenges. Like when I was writing this book, I did like an 1,000 words every day challenge. And that helped me like show up and feel like, okay, even if it's 11 o'clock at night, I've still got to write my 1,000 words so I can post a video and say, I've still done it. So it definitely helped with motivation. And it definitely helped actually with meeting some of now my best friends. So 2 friends I write with, one lives in Belgium. So like we never would have probably met otherwise. And then one who, lives in London and is like, she's sort of querying her book now. And we all like write together and talk about writing. And that was so nice, because I sort of feel like my life shifted a lot when I decided to take writing seriously. And I didn't really have friends who wrote. Like all my friends were just from like work, which, you know, is publishing related. A fly.
Sorry.
The
This
dragon.
fly. Oh, this
Like,
fly haunts
leave.
us on this podcast.
So I made some really close friends who now like I couldn't imagine not having. And also just like the sense of people who care about the book, which
you've built like a good little community on there.
there's so many lovely people who I've never met in person, and it's all just through the community. And I've sort of got my 4,000 followers on there who all just, I mean, when I announced the book deal, like I got so many messages. That was like the best day ever because they were all so sweet. And I think with a lot of them who followed, some of them followed from the beginning, so like they knew this was like, you know, it's been a few years of
this was the
trying.
goal.
This was the goal, and like
throughout.
we got the goal. And yes, I think social media's played a huge part. And when I sort of first started posting, a part of me hoped that like it would all work out. And so then like when I eventually did have a book coming out, I would have over time built a following who would hopefully support. Like authors definitely don't have to be on social media, but at the same time, it definitely helps. Also in terms of confidence, of just being like, okay, someone's going to buy it, like outside of friends and family who I'm lucky and my friends and family are very supportive. But not everyone has that, especially if they write a genre like, even a genre like romance, some people just, you know,
but
they're
you
like,
can see like people like who are so like invested in your book and the characters that they'll do fan art and stuff like that, and it's like it's so nice to see.
Exactly. I'm getting some character art commissioned at the moment, and I'm so excited.
Really? Oh, that is exciting. It's all the hype around it on social media as well, isn't it? And it's where people get their book recommendations. I say people, I get my book recommendations.
Speaking personally, no, I'm the same. Like, and I mean, I love sort of on both sides. If there's a book that I know we're pushing at work, and then I see people post about it, and I'm like, amazing. Like, it feels like if you see it on social media, that's like a big moment for a book. So sort of posting about mine, I'm hoping that then people, even if they're not followers, they might see it once and go like, oh, that looks cute, and sort of it's ripple effect. So
definitely. I definitely think it's a good way to get into the community. I mean, we always say the book talk and bookish community online is so strong, isn't it? And it's just such a really nice place to be.
It is.
Everyone's so supportive, and it's nice to kind of be part of it, I imagine.
Exactly,
and be on the receiving end of all the hype.
And so I know I love being on the social media. I guess the one thing is like feeling the need to show up as well. And especially when like I was sort of writing the book that I just handed in that was on like quite the strict deadline, and then you get a bit of guilt of like, oh god, I haven't posted like a TikTok in a few days or whatever, and I go through phases of being like very good and posting every day and being like, woo, go me, and then it being like a week and then feeling like, oh god. But you sort of realize that after a while, no one's going anywhere, like everyone's human. And so there's like the bit of pressure with social media, but I feel like the pros outweigh like any kind of con.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's really good to know, because we enjoy a bit of social media, don't we?
Yeah, little reel here and there.
So we have some what we call quick fire questions, but they never end up being that quick. So let's go for it. Let's just get into it. So
I'm ready.
What is a common misconception about traditional publishing?
I think some people think that if you get the book deal, then like that's it, you're set. You're going to have like tons of marketing, tons of publicity. The book's going to be in every Waterstones. And unfortunately, that's not always the case. So I think something I learned from working in publishing, which, you know, is good and bad, is like have like slightly lower expectations. Like you're probably not going to get a 6-figure book deal. You're probably not going to, your book might not be in every bookstore you go into, just because there's so many books. And like Waterstones is huge, but they could never have every book that publishes. So I think it was kind of going in and being like, okay, amazing achievement, but also like still got to work for it. Still got to like, publishing is like definitely like an upward trajectory. You know, it's not always going to be like, whoa, everything all at once. So yeah, I think that's something that's really useful for authors to know.
Okay.
If you could give one piece of advice to somebody who's writing their first book, what would it be?
Don't put too much pressure on it, because maybe that book is going to get you a book deal and that's incredible, but most likely it's not. And also most likely you'll then look back and be really glad that it wasn't the one that got you on. So if you feel like with your first book, you're having to rewrite it and it's taking you years and years and years, it's okay to just write another one. Like, that's not wasted time. You will have learned a lot. You'll probably realize that then writing a second book is going to take you way less time and maybe be like a more commercial book. So yeah, just don't put too much pressure on it. It should be fun, and it's okay to write a book that nothing ever happens with.
That is good advice. That's good advice. Okay, next question. These are actually more quick fires.
I know.
Oh, am I doing well?
Next one, quick. Which fantasy character would you date?
I feel like we've already mentioned Fourth Wing, just in our little chat before. It would be Xaden. It
really?
Would be.
Okay.
Yeah, just because. I mean, so I'm the sort of person who is awful. I'll read a book and then I'll forget basically everything that happened. But I remember, I think especially when I read Onyx Storm, just everything he said, my heart did a little like, and I was like, oh, I could reread that book like just for every time he speaks. So I think it has to be him. And when I sort of brought this question up to my boyfriend yesterday, and he immediately went, well, it has to be Xaden. So clearly I've been very vocal about the fact that I very much like
You're like
Xaden.
a shadow daddy.
I do. I don't have my laptop here, but if you, on my laptop in the corner, it's covered in stickers, but there is a little shadow daddy sticker.
Aww.
So proud.
Well, you're not going to be alone in that response.
I don't think so. He's pretty cool.
My sister said that she hoped that Violet would end up with Dane.
Oh, well, but Rebecca Yarros said that she has a soft spot for Dane, doesn't she? Which everyone was like, no, you can't. I don't think it will happen. I feel like it's got to be.
Yeah, she finds him whiny, which I didn't get. Like, he did whine a lot in the last book, but like, he's turning venom. It's not nice.
Yeah, well, who knows what's going to happen with that?
Cliffhanger. Wait and see.
So this is the last one. We ask all of our guests, because we now have more than 2.
It's a whole list now.
Whole list.
So if you could visit one fantasy world, you're not going to die. You have all of the abilities, because I think that's also a good little thing. Everyone's like, well, I would do this one, but I'd die.
You are equipped.
You are
to
not
survive wherever you go.
Where would you go and why?
I feel like I'd still pick a slightly low stakes one just for even if I was equipped, even if I could fight, I don't necessarily.
You'd rather not.
I'd rather not.
Peace.
Yeah, I would choose peace, not war. So I don't know if either of you have read any Stephanie Garber books.
Yes.
So her new, latest one, called Alchemy of Secrets. It's very subtly. Or do you feel like you have it?
Yeah. I don't.
Oh, you have Caraval.
Yes, I knew. Yeah, Caraval.
Yeah. So I haven't actually read that series, but I've read her Once Upon a Broken Heart one. Would also love to live in that world. The Alchemy of Secrets is very sort of real world, but it's based in Hollywood glamour, LA, and all of the folklore and mythical stories, all the characters in them are real. So it's sort of it's fun because it's real world, but maybe you've read this myth about I can't remember what any of them are called, but the clock man who could tell you what time you're gonna die, and all these kind of cool folklore myths. They're all real and you could just bump into them in the street. So I think that would be quite fun. And it the main character is studying a degree on them, which I always find an academia setting quite fun. So yeah, I'd want to be in that kind of bridge of real world, but fun folklore.
Yeah, that is a good answer. I agree with you. The academia, I always say that, don't I? I'm
going
to go to
I love
special magic school.
I know. And when I read a book like Babel or anything set in an Oxford, I'm oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, I'm reading the Zodiac Academy books.
I haven't read them. I'm a bit terrified because there's how many of them are there?
26, I think.
20?
Yeah. Well,
she's taking one for the team.
No, yeah. It's if someone's got to do it,
it's not me.
I'll let you know how
it's going to do it.
We'd be here for years.
Let's do a reminder, book title and release date.
Yes. Wait, I'll lift it up.
Oh yeah.
This so Head Over Skis debut cozy romance book coming out on the 3rd of September.
So exciting.
Should be able to get it wherever you usually get your books. If not, just make them stock it. So
yeah, request it.
Request it at your local.
And we'll obviously put all the links to absolutely everything in the description, but do you want to plug your TikTok and Instagram?
Yes, so I'm the same on both. I think it's Sophie_Davies_author. TikTok's my main channel, but I am trying to do some more on Instagram. So you can find stuff on both. And also I have like a website, which is also, I think, just author Sophie Davies, which has everything to do with what I'm doing, upcoming events. There's things to come as we get to September. So
exciting.
Yeah. We have one more thing to do.
Okay, go on.
So we have a little gift for you. So we have our podcast, Two Girls One Plot. Yeah. We have a little side hustle called Paper and Friends, which is bookish calligraphy. So all sorts of things to do with like bookish quotes. We're doing sort of like bookmarks and a few other things that are coming up. Anyway, so we asked you about a little quote that you might like to see in calligraphy, and we have put that together for you. So there you go.
Thank you so much.
That was for you.
Oh, this is so cute. This is like my first, I don't know, bookish fan art. It is fan art. Thank you very much. You guys are busy people.
We're busy old bees, aren't we?
Business. Thank you. I'll post it so everyone can see what it looks like close up. But thank you for having me. This has been so fun.
Well, thank you for coming. Fun. Definitely need to have you on. 100%.
We can have actual copies of it that time. I can flash that instead of, they won't be this big.
We are definitely going to have to come to your event.
Oh my God, absolutely 100%.
I'll send you all the stuff.
We'll wear our stickers. Oh, yes. Stickers.
So I did bring them. These will be at the event as well. I have little bookmarks. I've posted those before. I've got little stickers. I'm getting, hopefully some character art done. So any event I do, my plan is to bring.
To add it to Goodreads. That's
good. Well, because I thought you can't put like a specific retailer on there because want everyone to just support whoever. Yeah. But I put, you can add it on Goodreads because then people can, not that I will look on Goodreads when it comes out because I think I have to like preserve my peace. I'll be really curious to read all the reviews, but
you have to get a proofreader to read the reviews and then be like, it's safe, you can go in.
Yeah. I think I'll get my boyfriend to just like forward me the really good ones. Yeah. And then like if there's anything really like useful to know from more negative ones, I'll be like, tell it to me like whilst feeding me chocolate and like making me feel like it's all going to be okay. But yeah.
Great.
Lovely. Perfect. Well, thank you very much for watching. Please go and like all of our social media platforms. We are on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts and Spotify. And please go and follow the wonderful Sophie and make sure that you support her book when it comes out.
Thank you.
Bye.